The origins and evolution of Leviathan in mythology and religion. Imagine a creature so massive, so terrifying, that it has haunted human imagination for thousands of years. What if I told you that stories of a monstrous sea beast exist across multiple cultures, religions, and ancient myths? This isn't just any sea creature, it's Leviathan, a legendary beast that has been described as a terrifying force of chaos, destruction, and even divine wrath. From ancient Mesopotamian myths to biblical texts and medieval demonology, Leviathan has taken many forms. Is it merely a myth, a misunderstood sea creature, or something more? In this video, we'll explore its origins, its depictions in religious texts, its role in ancient mythology, and its impact on different cultures. Let's dive deep into the abyss of history and uncover the mystery of Leviathan. The origins of Leviathan. To truly understand Leviathan, we need to go back, way back, to its earliest roots. The idea of a monstrous sea serpent predates biblical times and can be traced to ancient Mesopotamian mythology. One of the oldest recorded myths, the Enuma Elish, tells the story of Tiamat, a primordial sea goddess of chaos. She's depicted as a massive dragon or serpent, waging war against the younger gods until she is ultimately defeated by Marduk, who then uses her body to shape the heavens and the earth. Sound familiar? This ancient tale bears striking similarities to later depictions of Leviathan as a great beast of the sea, eventually subdued by divine power. In Canaanite mythology, another powerful sea dragon named Lotan appears, serving as a chaotic force that must be vanquished by the storm god Baal. These early stories set the foundation for Leviathan's terrifying reputation in later religious texts. Leviathan in the Hebrew Bible. Fast forward to the Hebrew Bible, and Leviathan appears in several key passages. Each one paints a slightly different picture of this monstrous entity. The Book of Job, Job 41, this passage offers the most detailed description of Leviathan, an untamable sea creature covered in impenetrable scales, with razor-sharp teeth and the ability to breathe fire. The message? No human can control Leviathan, but God can, reinforcing divine power. The Psalms, Psalm 4:14, Psalm 4:26 here, Leviathan is a multi-headed sea monster that God defeats, symbolizing his triumph over chaos. The Book of Isaiah, Leviathan is described as a twisting serpent and dragon in the sea that God will eventually slay, signifying the victory of order over evil. Interestingly, while the Old Testament doesn't explicitly link Leviathan to Satan, the New Testament's book of Revelation introduces a seven-headed red dragon, often associated with the devil. Could Leviathan be an early representation of ultimate evil? Leviathan in Jewish Apocrypha and rabbinic literature. Jewish traditions take Leviathan's story even further, giving it an important role in end-time prophecies. In the Book of Enoch, Leviathan is described as a female sea monster, while Behemoth, her land-based counterpart, is male. The two were separated by God to prevent worldwide destruction. The Talmud suggests that at the end of time, Leviathan will be slain, and its flesh will be served as a grand feast for the righteous. Even more dramatically, its skin will be used to create a covering for the banquet tent, and its remains will illuminate the world. Other midrashic stories claim Leviathan is 300 miles long, with enormous horns and a mouth that can swallow anything in its path. These accounts elevate Leviathan from being just a sea creature to something much larger, a cosmic force of chaos destined to play a role in the ultimate battle between good and evil. Leviathan in Christian demonology. But Leviathan's legend doesn't stop there. In medieval Christian traditions, it takes on an even darker identity. In the Classification of Demons by Peter Binsfeld, Leviathan is one of the seven princes of hell, representing the deadly sin of envy. Thomas Aquinas and other scholars expanded on this, portraying Leviathan as a demonic force that punishes the envious by swallowing them whole. Some even believed Leviathan's gaping mouth was the entrance to hell itself. At this point, Leviathan was no longer just a sea monster. It had become a symbol of pure evil, tempting and devouring souls for eternity. Leviathan in other mythologies. Leviathan isn't the only mythical beast of its kind. Throughout history, We find similar sea monsters across different cultures. Greek mythology, Typhon, a terrifying serpentine giant, fought Zeus in a battle that determined the fate of the world. Norse mythology, Jörmungandr, the massive world serpent, encircles the earth and is destined to battle Thor during Ragnarok. Hindu mythology, Vritra, a monstrous serpent, had to be defeated by the god Indra to restore balance to the universe. These stories all share a common theme, a mighty serpent or dragon representing chaos, eventually defeated by a god or hero. Could Leviathan simply be another version of this ancient myth? Was Leviathan inspired by a real creature? Now here's where things get interesting. Could Leviathan have been based on a real sea creature? Some theories suggest Leviathan was inspired by giant whales, crocodiles, extinct marine reptiles like Mosasaurus or plesiosaurs. Others argue that Leviathan was never meant to represent a physical being. It was always a metaphor for chaos, evil, or the unknown depths of the sea. Leviathan's influence in modern culture. Even today, Leviathan's legacy endures. The name has been used in philosophy, literature, and pop culture. Thomas Hobbes used Leviathan as a metaphor for an all-powerful state in his political work. Fantasy and sci-fi movies, books, and games often feature Leviathan-like creatures, from colossal sea monsters in video games to terrifying beasts in horror films. Even modern conspiracy theories have drawn inspiration from Leviathan, associating it with deep-sea mysteries and secret forces of control. So, what do we make of Leviathan? Over the centuries, it has evolved from a mythical sea beast to a symbol of chaos, divine power, and ultimate evil. Whether seen as a terrifying monster lurking beneath the waves or a representation of human fears, Leviathan remains one of the most fascinating creatures in history. So now, I turn it over to you. What do you think? Was Leviathan based on a real sea creature, a cultural myth passed down through generations, or something more sinister? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into mythology, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating legends from history. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious.